Welcome to Keys of the Game, brought to you by Uvalde Chevrolet with Coach Miller. We're back for, I guess, going into our 8th week of the season now. Maybe I'll start off with fans love preseason predictions, mid-season predictions. They love polls. And the high school deal is a little different at college, but any surprises you've seen around the region outside of Uvalde? Not to put you on the spot.
Well, with us, we're kind of where I hoped we would be. So I'm really not surprised. In fact, I think there's a game or two we left out that we should have won. But not really. I mean, Alice beating Cal Allen the other night, that's always a surprise when Cal Allen's not going to win district and lose. And Floresville's not near as good as I thought they would be. So, but other than that, I think it's pretty much right where people thought it would go.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk a little bit about last week, but maybe that's a good point to talk about this week. I'm sure you watched the Huddle film on Fredericksburg and Somerset. Were you more surprised with Fredericksburg or more surprised with Somerset coming out of that game? Because I think it surprised a lot of people.
It did. It shocked me. I know Eloy came and told me as soon as our game was over, and we saw it was 21-7 at halftime, and I just thought Somerset would just keep on going. I thought it was a sloppy game all the way around. I didn't think either one of the teams played very well. But Somerset has so many kids hurt. I mean, they have their running back hurt, 2 of their offensive linemen, a couple of kids on defense. If you watch their sideline, and I always do that to see who's in and who's not, you'll see 8 or 10 kids standing with their jerseys on as opposed to it. And then on top of that, to turn it over 6 times, I mean, that was just – they kind of just did everything in their power to lose that game.
No. Well, not that it's still a big game for us this week, but not that game has any direct reflection on the next one. But I know it's always interesting to look. So, any surprises on the college deal? I know you're a big college fan too, and text the boys back and forth.
Yeah, the Notre Dame thing shocked me. I mean, I thought they had a chance to play with USC just because they run the ball so well, and USC doesn't play defense. But that thing shocked me, and then really other than that, I mean, I knew A&M was going to have a hard time at Tennessee. That was really the one that surprised
Their
me.
offensive line really struggled in that game.
Yes, they did.
So, with Texas having a week off, I kind of enjoyed why I watched that. That's the first A&M game I pretty much watched from start to finish in a long time.
And they're frustrating because they have the lead at halftime every week.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I don't know if they're not making any adjustments or their adjustments are bad, but they can't play offense in the second half, and they haven't done it all year.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Kennedy. What were some of your thoughts coming out of it?
Number one, way too many penalties. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to gripe about a 52-7 win, but to have that many procedure penalties, and part of it is on me because the way we're running our offense with motion in our tailback, he sends him in motion, and it's a timing thing, and when he wants it, he says go. Well, they're yelling motion at the same time he's saying go, and that kind of messed it up. We have changed our cadence and changed our process of motion this week. That should help. And then the JV defensive guys have had the best week of practice ever because I told those guys, I said, look, every time we motion, if you scream motion and get them to jump, they have 10 up downs. And we did 120 up downs on Monday. And the JV guys were loving life, and they were running their mouth at them. So, but by yesterday we didn't have but 10. I mean, we jumped one time. So we'll get there, and I think we've got that fixed. And then I thought against Kennedy, we were just a bigger, stronger football team. But for the first time since I've been here, we did not play down to our competition level. We just did our thing and played and got it over with and played well.
Yeah, and that was one of my thoughts too. Is in the past, it's when you thought going into the game that whether it be 4 defensive linemen, pressuring a quarterback, or on offense, 5 defensive linemen blocking 4, maybe blocking 5 with 1 blitz guy coming. Yeah. A lot of times you think, okay, we got this team one-on-one.
Right.
That we can beat this team one-on-one, and sometimes we haven't, and that's just been kind of surprising. So yeah, I agree with you. It was nice to see. Really
both fronts did real well. We threw the ball well, we ran the ball well, and then we tackled well. And that always helps when you tackle well. And I thought they did a real good job. Your first series, you kind of script out, know exactly what you want to run based on what the defense does. And their first 10-play script was great. I mean, they marched down the field and scored. But then when you had to line up and play against the better team, it kind of got to them after that.
Well, it's always nice for fans to see a lot of kids get in the game, there's parents there that don't generally see their kid get to play a whole lot. So that was nice. And getting out early and then staying up, never got to a point where you thought, well, maybe I should put a few more starters back in. And
Yeah, no, there was never a point. In fact, we got 9 JV guys in the other night, so that was good.
Well, that's always a good thing, and hopefully we've got a game or two more like that this season and get some good playing time. And I know with these seniors coming down their last few ball games, those games are a lot of fun. You get to relax and but yeah, that's interesting. You're talking about the false start penalties and being a little bit undisciplined, and yeah, that's kind of what I thought it was. Of course, from the stands, you can't hear. And Brody told me, came on, no, they were yelling motion and yelling the snap count, and we just really hadn't worked on that, and we were having a hard time.
And I'm not going to name names, but it was just 2 guys. It was 2 of the 5. 3 of them never jumped.
Well, when I guarantee you, Fredericksburg's watching film, and they're going to be doing it. They're going to be trying to get us to jump.
What they're good at is going on alternate snap counts and getting the defense to jump.
Yeah.
And we're notorious for doing that too. So yesterday was actually defensive lineup down Davis. We got those guys to jump about 5 or 6 times. So hopefully we got it fixed this week.
Yeah. When in high school, when you're looking at a lot fewer plays than you see in the college level, when you're looking at 45, 50 a game, a lot of times, when you have 75, 80 yards of offensive penalties to back up that yardage, that's tough. And it will be tough this weekend against Fredericksburg.
Yeah, no, we can't do that. We had 150 yards of penalties the other night. We can't even be half of that against Fredericksburg.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Fredericksburg a little bit. What do you kind of think? What are you going to see out of them? You think?
They're going to play really hard. They're not near as big as previous Fredericksburg's teams that I've coached against. They got a lot of sophomores that play key roles, and they play them well. They're going to do what they do. They run a lot of RPOs. The quarterback's not the original starter. He got hurt. He does a really good job with it on offense. And, if you get out of your gap, their little running backs will hit it, and they'll go. Defensively, they almost look exactly like us. I mean, the defense is the same scheme. It's pretty much, it's almost identical.
A lot of press coverage.
A lot of press. Well, not nearly as much press coverage. They play some, but a lot of the same stunts and definitely the same alignments. So,
well, that should be nice. I mean, at least our guys are used to working.
Yeah, we went out Monday usually when we do scout defense against us, I'll tell Coach Mack what they run, and I heard him yell, hey, it's our stuff, just line up and run. Okay, so that's
nice. I mean, that's not having to learn a whole new scheme coming in. They throw the ball a lot, or is it?
They're pretty balanced, and they have a lot of tendencies to where if it's 3rd and 5 or less, they're going to run the ball. If it's 5 to 10, they throw the ball. If it's over 10, they run a screen. I mean, you can see it pretty much just kind of play out. Now they execute them real well, and they're hard to stop, but they have a lot of tendencies on offense.
Yeah. Well, one thing I know that you like to do, and watching you for 3 years and stuff, you always like a surprise or two. You got a couple surprises for Fredericksburg, and you don't tell them. I'm just kind of figuring you.
We have multiple surprises. Yeah. I don't know if we'll run them. Actually, the second touchdown to Taylor last week, I could kick myself for calling it because that was one of the Fredericksburg surprises. But we got a wrinkle off of it this week.
Well, and I always look at those things. Yeah, why didn't you hear that? Why didn't that coach save that for the Texas OU game? Or why didn't he save it for the LSU A&M game? Or why didn't he save it for this big game? But you're also making them respect it too. And so when you scored off that and they see that double reverse coming, okay, is that going to run? We got to throw, and they're a little slower reacting.
Yeah, exactly. And then, we put in the swinging gate last week for our field goal to extra point, and we worked on it more this week. That's kind of something. Mainly you put that in, even if you don't ever run anything out of it, they have to spend 15 minutes every week to work on it. So, just little things like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not just necessarily the game. It's also practice, preparation, and time you're spending on it. So. Well, as we're kind of wrapping up the season here, not many JV, freshman, junior high games left. What's the junior high got left this year?
They've got 2 games left. 7th grade is 3-3, the A team. The 8th grade has won 2 games, the A team. And they didn't win any last year, so we got a lot more kids out in that grade, and they're playing a lot better. In fact, 7th grade played last night. They played CC Win last night, and they lost a relatively close one. And then they play next Tuesday here against, I want to say, Del Rio. I can't remember exactly who it is.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I mean, if you'd like to get out and watch a few of those games, I mean, you've got this week and next week, and they're pretty much
done. Yeah, and then they finish against Pearsall at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. So. And the JV kind of same way. They're here Our JV and freshmen are here Thursday night.
JV and freshmen are here Thursday night, and then next week Memorial does not have a freshman team, so the JV's going to Edgewood, and the freshmen are going to play back-to-back against Fredericksburg. They're going to go play Fredericksburg next week. And then we finish with Somerset, and I'm hearing Somerset doesn't have a freshman team either. I haven't talked to him, but one of the other coaches told me that. So I'm looking for another freshman game. And those games should be here on that last Thursday.
All right. Well, you know, if Kyle Pence, you're listening, if you want to get out and kind of see what some of the next year's crop looks like, you know, and get a few games left, and you know, we're finally at that time of year where it's enjoyable to sit in the stands. So yeah, please get out and do that. So, well, I appreciate it, Coach. Any last thoughts or?
I just want to give a shout out to Coach Pritchard and Team Tennis. You know, we had a coaching change. Coach Ramby had been here for a long time, and they lost in the third round on Tuesday to a really good Toloso Midway team, one district. Just really proud of those kids. And then cross country, the boys ended up placing second at the district meet, and they're going to regionals, and the girls just missed going to regionals. Coach Libby's done a good job with all them. So super proud of my sports in the fall.
Great. Well, I mean, hopefully we wrap up the fall on a strong note and go into winter and stuff and see these college programs continue to build. Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.